Alright, welcome back to BrainFLoTv, y'all. Listen, this one right here is Florida versus Demise. Case number 19001872C as in Sierra, F as in Foxtrot, 10A as in Alpha. And this case is in the 17th Judicial Circuit in Fort Broward County, Florida. With no further ado, let's get right into the details. This video will take you through from when this started to where it's currently at right now, with all the drama and theatrics that's going on in this case, so everybody gets on the same page. So the state of Florida versus Demise is an ongoing American criminal case in Florida's 17th Judicial Circuit, in which rapper Demise, commonly known by his stage name YNW Melly, is charged with murdering his two friends. Anthony Andre Williams, YNW Sakchaser is his stage name, and Christopher Jermaine Thomas Jr., YNW Juvy, is his stage name, and this murder occurred in October of 2018. If convicted, he faces either life in prison without the possibility of parole, or he faces the death penalty. The prosecution is going really hardball for this one. If Demise is convicted, he will be one of the first defendants to be sentenced under Florida Governor Ron DeSantis's new non-unanimous death sentence law, in which the jury will only need to have at least 8 out of 12 jurors to agree to recommend the death penalty rather than it being unanimous. So before Ron DeSantis put this into law in the state of Florida, you needed 12 jurors out of the 12 jurors seated to say yay or nay. But that is not how it is now. According to the new law, all you need is 8 of the 12 jurors. The case gained massive public interest due to Demise, or Melly, most popular single called Murder on My Mind, a rap song in which Demise discusses hypothetical homicidal ideation. On July 22nd of 2023, Judge John Murphy declared a mistrial after the jury remained deadlocked on the charges, with a 9-3 vote in favor of convicting Demise on the lesser offenses of manslaughter. The prosecution began to retry the case all over again on October 18th of 2023. Now we are in the phase where they are doing a jury selection to start a new trial. In October of 2018, Demise and his friend Anthony Andre... Kai, get out. Come on, hurry up, get up, go. Next room, hurry up. And close my door. Fucking door, boy. 3:30. Fuck. In October of 2018, Demise and his friends, Anthony Andre Williams, YNW Sakchaser, and Christopher Thomas Jr., YNW Juvy, and Cortland Malik Henry, who's otherwise known as YNW Bortland, they were at a recording studio. Williams and Thomas would later be driven to the hospital by Henry after being shot dead in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in what Demise and Henry claim was a drive-by shooting. The 4 rappers were to appear in a music video by another local rapper the following afternoon. Demise and Henry still appeared in that music video. So we're talking about right after their homies are being shot, or they survived the drive-by shooting allegedly. They showed up to a rap video set anyways. Right. And if you see the video, it was them showing no remorse as to what had happened earlier, just hours ago. We all know the story too familiar now, that YNW Melly was not the one that showed up at the hospital. It was YNW Bortland, along with the 2 friends who are now dead, YNW Sakchaser, and YNW Juvy. This is where the discrepancy from the law comes in, because after matching ballistics and doing forensics, the state has now come to a conclusion that this was no drive-by shooting. This was actually a murder or double murder case that they had plotted to look like it was a drive-by shooting, with no trace of any evidence suggesting an actual drive-by shooting took place, but plenty suggesting this was staged. Following a grand jury indictment of Melly and Henry for the murders, Demings and Henry were arrested on February 13th of 2019, and they were both charged with the premeditated first-degree murders of Williams and Thomas. So far, YNW Melly has pled not guilty. Jury selection for the trial of Demings started on April 11th of 2023. That trial began on June 12th of 2023. Prosecutors sought the death penalty in that trial. Opening statements. Both the prosecution and the defense gave their opening statements on June 12th of 2023. Prosecutor Kristen Bradley gave the state's opening statement, and she stated that Demings and Henry murdered their two friends, Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas, and then they attempted to stage it to make it look like it was a drive-by shooting. She claimed that Demings confessed to murdering Williams and Thomas when he stated on Instagram direct message in response to a question about their death. His response was, quote, unquote, "I did that. Shh," unquote. The defense, attorney David A. Howard, stated that there was no motive for Demings to murder his friends, and that the state's case is riddled with reasonable doubt. He went on to discuss his perspective of the murder investigation, and if after 4 years of investigation the state comes and says, hey, he killed two of his friends, and you're wondering why, and their answer is, I don't know, that's the first indication that they're just guessing and they don't know what they're talking about, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is by itself reasonable doubt. They do not have to prove motive in this case. However, his attorneys in opening statements did take that chance to sway the jury to believe that after all these years of investigation, the state does not have a solid motive. The why. Why was it done? Well, guess what? Many of murders have been committed and many of people have been convicted without the why. The jury deliberated for 14 hours over 3 days, but they were unable to reach a unanimous verdict, even after the judge gave them an Allen charge, a direction which urged them to try to come to a unanimous conclusion. Melly remained in custody, awaiting retrial in October. The new trial proceedings were set to begin on October 9th of 2023. Jury selection began on October 17th of 2023 for the new trial. A jury in the state case in an interview to Local 10 News that the hung jury was a vote of 9-3 in favor of convicting Demings on 2 lesser offenses of manslaughter. See, a lot of people believe that the jury came back 9-3 in favor of Melly because his mother had put that information out to the public. Well, the juror, one of the jurors, did an interview with Local 10 News and stated that they came back 9-3 in favor of finding him guilty, but not guilty of capital murder, guilty of a lesser offense of manslaughter. The jury stated that it was initially a vote of 11-1, but accused another juror of being explosive and manipulative to other members of the jury, going as far as to shout out homophobic slurs to other jurors, bullying aggressiveness, as if she wanted to fight, eventually persuading two others to come over to her side. So by the time it ended in a mistrial. Now, where are we today with the YNW Melly case? Jury selection continues in the retrial of YNW Melly. And of course, prosecutors are vetting jurors for the death penalty retrial, and this is the death penalty retrial of Jamel Demons, known as YNW Melly, and they want to keep off the jury panel anybody who closely followed his trial in July that ended in a mistrial. This is what the court records shows. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The only way they're going to get people who did not follow this trial, who know nothing about this trial, is either A, they're going to get people who lie for their own ulterior motive, like possibly somebody who is a huge fan of YNW Melly, and they will lie and say, I don't follow rap music, I don't follow this type of stuff, I have no idea about this, I heard here and there little stuff, but I didn't really follow it. That person could lie their way onto the jury stand and then affect the outcome of this entire trial. I also said the only way possible is for them to get some elderly, like senior citizen, Caucasian people who definitely paid no attention to this. And I know that is drastically assuming, but that's the route. However, the Constitution said you should be tried before a jury of your peers. And if they go 75, 60, 75-year-olds, Caucasian people, Melly is 20-something young years old, African-American, completely not juries of his peers. Jury selection on his retrial began October 18th, and it continues through December 15th, according to a schedule that was issued by Broward County Circuit Judge John Murphy III, who ordered a mistrial on July 22nd after a jury failed to reach the verdict following their 3 days of deliberation. So a lot of people are under the impression that YNW Melly's jury selection process is going to go on forever and ever and ever, and we don't know when it's going to end. Therefore, they're probably going to have to keep on pushing the trial forward, pushing the date forward until they get a jury. No, they actually have a schedule, and yeah, they might not hit the schedule on target, but they will stay within close proximity to this schedule. Tentatively, as we speak right now, it started on the 18th and it will continue through December 15th. So by December 15th, we should be going to trial. A unanimous verdict is required to convict or to acquit this defendant. A unanimous verdict is required to convict or to acquit. Now, we all know the story already. Demons and his childhood friends, they were at a recording studio. Now they are both 24 years old. Cortland Henry and YNW Melly, they were 19 when this started. They are 24 years old now. They have pleaded not guilty, both of them respectively, to these 2 counts of first-degree murder with a firearm in the October 26th, 2018 shooting death of Anthony Williams, who would be 21 then, and Christopher Thomas, who was Juvy, who would have been 19 back then. Obviously, Sakchaser was the elder or oldest of the group. Now, according to the rest of the information we have here, we don't want to rehash the case again. We know it was a recording studio. We know they left the recording studio. We know they left in separate vehicles. We've seen it on video. And for some reason, Melly ended up in a different vehicle, according to his attorney and according to one witness who they brought forth to testify on their behalf in the first trial, which takes him out of the vehicle that had the 2 dead bodies in it and Cortland in it as well, or Bortland, Cortland Henry in it as well. Citing extensive media coverage surrounding demise, the state's new lead prosecutor to this time is Assistant State Attorney Alexandria Bukalu, after they had removed the previous prosecutor, Christine Bradley. Alexandria Bukalu filed a paper on October 30th seeking to strike all jurors with significant knowledge of this previous trial. So if you knew a lot, or if you know a lot about YNW Melly's previous trial, you're somebody who she does not want on this jury. That's going to be hard to do. Demon's first trial was live and it was streamed on numerous platforms, including through YouTube, through Law&Crime Network, and it was widely reported on news websites and on social media, Bukalu noted. She said it was everywhere, so what? It's going to be hard. Some jurors have informed the court that they have watched the trial and they have done significant research on the case so far. Bukalu also said that, in part, argued that because the state is still determining what evidence will be presented during the retrial, any juror who followed Demon's first trial or watched it live should be excused from the jury pool. Due to the unknown, she wrote, having any juror with significant knowledge on the case should be avoided at all cost. Why? Because obviously, if you watch the first trial and a piece of evidence stuck out to you that says this means he's guilty, and then the second trial comes around and that piece of evidence is no longer existing, it has been struck, taken out, you're going to still be using that piece of evidence in your mind against him, when in his new trial, it was not even presented anymore. This is the reason why she's being fair. She wants fresh minds that has never seen all those presented evidence or forensic stuff and all the other stuff that was presented before. That way you can make up your mind with a clean slate. Unfortunately for people like me, I went through the first trial from beginning to end, and I'm following leading jury selection all the way up to the second trial. So I have already formed my opinion based on the first trial. Therefore, I would not be a good juror for this. On October 12th, Judge Murphy, and we're talking about October 12th, Judge Murphy ordered lead prosecutor Kristen Bradley to get off the case. This is October 12th of 2023. After Melly's lawyers claimed that the prosecutor did not reveal the lead investigator, Miramar Police Detective Mark Moretti, had previously accused of being willing to lie as he gathered evidence. So basically they said, look, you guys held stuff back from us that could have helped us in the trial, and therefore you're not trustworthy people. And we're requesting, Your Honor, that the lead detective and the lead prosecutor be removed from the case. The attorney asked Murphy, who is the judge, to remove the Broward State's Attorney's Office from the case, the entire Broward County State's Office from the case, and potentially dismiss the entire case. The request came after Assistant State Attorney Michelle Botros, who works for the same office, Broward office, testified on behalf of YNW Melly's attorneys that she did overhear Moretti asked a Broward County deputy to lie on his behalf after being present at the Broward County Courthouse on October 12th of 2022 when Moretti executed a search warrant outside of his jurisdiction and forcibly seized the phone from YNW Melly's mother, Jamie Demons King, as part of a witness tampering investigation. Defense attorney James Benjamin, defense attorney for YNW Melly, said that information should have been turned over to them because they could have used it to discredit Moretti during the first trial. Prosecutors countered that that the exchange between Moretti and the deputy was a joke, and they noted that an attorney for Demon's mother was present when her phone was taken and would have known that the deputy wasn't there, which to this day I'm still asking, where is her attorney? If she is accusing them and this state is saying we didn't do anything inappropriate, y'all know we were joking, because your attorney was sitting right there. And if we had been inappropriate, your attorney should be able to step up in court and say we were inappropriate. And to this day, it is still just an accusation. That attorney who they said was there still has not showed up to say, yeah, I was there, and they were inappropriate, right? Murphy, who was the judge presiding over the case, he removed Christine Bradley, who was the original prosecutor, from the case in what he calls an abundance of caution. Not because she did anything wrong, but he ended it by saying the judge didn't find that Bradley's integrity had been compromised. He said her integrity has not been compromised. Her integrity is still intact, but she should not serve as a prosecutor on the case if the defense was planning to call her as a witness regarding the credibility of one of the investigators on the same case she is prosecuting. So people are still running around saying they did wrong and that's why the judge removed her. But this is the facts. She did no wrong, or so it was found in court. Prosecutors in early October then charged Demons with 7 new felonies related to making sure that a key witness did not testify in his first murder trial. They included tampering with a witness in a capital felony, directing the activities of a criminal gang, 2 counts of soliciting to commit tampering, conspiracy to commit tampering, 2 counts of unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Demons is accused, along with Henry and Broward County Jail inmate Terrence Mathis, on engaging in witness tampering between April 10th and July 22nd, their records show. And this right here is kind of like some extra nails in the coffin, because now people are saying, well, why were you tampering with the witnesses if you're not guilty? If you're not guilty and you have nothing to hide in the death of your 2 friends, why not just sit back and let your good attorneys who you pay so much money to do their job and get you out? Why are you doing extra from behind bars? Even with all your privileges revoked, you're still going above and beyond to find ways to reach out to people who you are not supposed to reach out to because you've been ordered not to reach out to them. Well, following up, we all know how the rest of the story goes. YNW Bortland was on bail. He was on waiting his trial, and his house was raided. He was picked up. His bond was revoked. He is now back in custody, and he will apparently be staying there because now he is seen as someone who has broken the rules, who has been in contact with people he was not supposed to be in contact with, to include YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend, and who was supposed to testify at his trial and did not show up, and to also include YNW Melly himself, who was ordered to have no contact with Bortland, and Bortland ordered to have no contact with him. So once those things are proven, his bond has been revoked, and he is now back behind bars. Now, in court filings, prosecutors said that Demons is with the Bloods street gang. In court filings, prosecutors said that Demons is with the Blood street gangs. He is a Blood. And they claimed that he used his phone calls that were made by other inmates in the jail at his request, and letters that were passed between them to get messages to Blood members on the streets. Those members successfully made sure that a key witness did not testify, kind of like moving like a mob boss. Serious charges in a murder case like this carries up to life in prison on its own. Benjamin, Demons' lead attorney, told the Associated Press the tampering charges are clearly a retaliation after he and law partner Daniel Aronson accused Broward County State Attorney Harold Pryor and his underlings of a cover-up. He said that Pryor, Bradley, and others conspired to hide that Moretti had been accused by prosecutors in their office of asking another law enforcement officer to lie in a related investigation. All that has not been founded. It has been brought before the judge. This is what stalled the start of the jury selection in the first place. Once YNW Melly's attorneys made this claim, then the judge, John Murphy, said, wait, we cannot go on just like this. We have to address these motions that are being filed first. This is a serious accusation. They brought it before the judge. Both parties aired their grievances, and at the end of it, no wrongdoing was found, and the case proceeds with the jury selection process. According to prosecutors, Melly, Williams, and Thomas were riding in a 2018 Jeep Compass that was driven by Henry when Demons, who is Melly, fired the fatal shots inside of that vehicle. Defense attorneys have claimed that this lacks credibility because Demons and the victims were actually close friends, and they were also recording partners of the same rap group collective, so why would he kill his friends and business partners? After killing both men, prosecutors said that YNW Melly and Henry Bortland drove the bodies to an area near the Everglades where they shot at the back and passenger side of Henry's Jeep from the outside to make it look like Williams and Thomas were victims of a drive-by shooting. Prosecutors claim that ballistic tests showed that the pair were shot from inside the Jeep. Defense lawyers focused on the fact that the gun was never recovered. They also insisted that Demons had no apparent motive for this type of a crime. He had his breakout in 2017, and he rose to fame with his song that was titled Murder on My Mind on his 2018 tape called I Am You. Demons went on to work with Kanye West on Mixed Personalities, which was released in January of 2019, a month before he was jailed on murder charges. Strange. Now, jury selection on the YNW Melly trial, first trial began April 10th, and it took until June 12th to seat the panel of 12 jurors. The state presented testimonies for 16 days, showed jurors more than 100 trial exhibits. Records shows Moretti on the stand spent several days testifying about evidence that was collected during an investigation, including cell phone and GPS data and social media posts, and what investigators found in the bullet-riddled Jeep. YNW Melly did not testify in his own trial, his first trial, and his lawyers called just a single witness, and that single witness was called at the end to say a bombshell. YNW Melly left the vehicle after it drove out of sight of the recording device from the recording studio, where we all saw them on video leaving the studio and packing into two separate vehicles. Now, the thing about that is there's also a person there who testified that he was in the red vehicle, Mr. Glass. And Mr. Glass said Melly was at no time in the red vehicle. So, the friend who testified that Melly left the dark colored vehicle in which his friends were murdered and got out to pee on the side of the road and then decided to jump in the red vehicle, that person might also be charged with perjury if it is found that he had lied. So there is that one witness that came in and saved the day with injecting enough doubt for the jury to remain confused. For his retrial, it's unclear when prosecutors will actually begin calling witnesses. The state has asked to hold off on testimonies until January starts to give new prosecutors that are assigned to the case some trial time to prepare. YNW Melly's attorneys says nope, we don't want to give anybody any time to prepare. We want to move right ahead. This is a speedy trial situation. But in the process of crying out speedy trial, they have constantly been filing motions which have been hindering the process from going speedily ahead. In a flurry of pre-trial motions, YNW Melly's lawyers are seeking to limit what evidence may be presented to jurors at his retrial, at the new trial. They hope to exclude cell phone data, emails, and posts to Google and social media accounts, including Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter, the filing shows. Now, let me tell you this. They have filed a motion to exclude cell phone data. Cell phone data is the only thing that puts YNW Melly square dead in the middle of all of this. And if they are successful at having the cell phone data along with emails and the Google information along with social media accounts including Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter, if they get all that thrown out, then you might as well throw this whole case out, because there's nothing else that's going to put him there except for someone stepping up like YNW Bortland, who drove the body to the hospital, stepping up and saying Melly did it. But YNW Bortland is hardlined faithful to YNW Melly, and he looks like somebody who is going to ride till the wheels fall off. A lot of people been calling him a crash dummy, including myself. At some point, you got to start saying, damn, I got to save myself. Life in prison without a possibility of parole or 60 years in prison at 24 years old just does not sit right. If you could get at least half of that time cut off, it's worth it. Especially if you weren't the person who actually pulled the trigger. See, YNW Bortland still has a out. And YNW Bortland's out could sound like this. I was driving. We did not plan this together. As I'm driving, I heard the first gunshot goes off. And he could be animated. And he could say, listen, have you ever heard a gunshot go off inside of a vehicle? It's loud. And my ears were ringing. And next thing I know, I seen blood flying everywhere. And I'm scared. And after a few seconds, I realized what was going on. And I did not want to be next because he was sitting right behind me. And he killed the other two people in the vehicle. I thought, damn, he was going to kill me next. And then they will ask him, so, okay, why didn't you, after you got away from him, why did you not tell then? Why did you go meet him at a video shoot set? That shows you guys planned this. And he could say, well, they know where my mom lived. They know where my dad lived. They know where my family is. He is a gang member, and he is seen as the breadwinner in the group, the money maker, which a lot of people are depending on him, and they would cause harm to my family. So, Your Honor, I was 19 years old. I was scared, didn't know what else to do, and I figured I would go along with the plot because I was told they got millions of dollars and they were going to use the millions of dollars to free us. And I believed in it. Now, with that said, I have to tell the truth because it doesn't sit right with me. If Bortland comes out and says that, he's going to prison. But he's not going to prison for murder because he didn't do it. He was driving while it was done and he was scared out his mind. Another fact that was found, a lot of people are saying $16 million in that account. Man, Melly had a lot of money. And it has been revealed that the $16 million was in Melly's manager's account. And it was $16 million that covered all the artists on his roster their earnings, to include rapper King Von. Right. So, and as far as it was said, at least half of that was earnings brought in by King Von. King Von's earnings, royalties and show money and all that other stuff. So it wasn't Melly that made $16 million and was sitting on $16 million. There's some money in it that Melly has made, but it ain't 16. It's not even half of the 16, right? With that said, this is where we are today, and I encourage you to hit that subscribe button so we can update you with all that's going on in this case. New motions have been filed since October 8th of 2023, and we'll be bringing you that update on our next video. I hope this video was helpful and it brought everybody up to speed as to how this started, where they're at, and where this seems to be going. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's BrainFLoTv. I'm out. Peace.